As the hands of the clock sounded tick-tock, hitting the midnight hour mark, Nigerians were excited about the turn of the new year. With happiness seeing the end of 2023 and the coming of 2024, Nigerians were indeed hopeful of a new beginning as it concerns not just the economy, but security and other challenges that characterize 2023. By what made 2023 a year most Nigerians will not forget in a hurry, and really what shaping the year 2023 to be one that most Nigerians will always wish away. In our quest to see what will define 2024, it's only right for us to look back to 2023 and see some major talking points and events that shaping 2023. And that is what this edition of the first big story in the year 2024 will be, as we look at what shaping 2023 as we project into 2024. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at some of the top stories that are shaping the nation, or really was on the front burner of the nation in the year 2023, as we try to project into 2024 and see what Nigerians will hold supreme for them to have a new change of narrative. And that's what we're having as a major one on the very first edition of the big story in 2024. We're talking about some top stories that were, or rather, shaping the nation in 2023. But I'm still here to help us talk about it. I'm still joined by two of my lovely guests. I'm talking about those that were with me in the papers, and talking about no other person, but there's the Godwin Ojigba, and also Comrade Efe on this special January 1st edition of the big story and quest today. Gentlemen, welcome back to it. We are definitely looking at some of the major stories that shaping the year in 2023, and we'll be taking a critical look at some of them. But anyways, let's just quickly start with it and see how we run through some of the major issues. And one of the major issues that characterized 2023, or rather was the carryover of 2022 coming into 2023, was the issue of Naira scarcity. And the outrage that followed the redesign of the 3 Naira notes. We're talking about the 1,000 Naira, the 500 Naira, the 200 Naira by the central bank. And the issue of the deadline, that was the first major thing that hit us in 2023. And I quickly would want both of you to look at that ugly phenomenon that saw extortion of cash that Nigerians hardly had, but they were really extorted from, especially as they went forward to get most of this money from point of service or POS agents and all of that. But let's look at all of it and see how 2023, or rather how Nigerians were greeted into 2023 and the issue of Naira scarcity. It was a major problem, but many will say as much as that greeted us into 2023, funny enough, we're coming into 2024 with almost similar thing. How did you get it wrong in 2022 into 2023, and why are we still facing the same challenges in 2024?
You know, Mike, Nigerians will try to operate on the Shylockism system. You see, when that of 2022 happened, people insinuated that it was just an attempt to stifle the economy because of the elections that were coming in. But at the end of the day, we discovered that there was nothing like that. The then CBN governor, that is the embattled Emefiele as of today, who is being accused on several fronts.
Right, he's still an unnamed bishop with the red bag.
No. Let's just. He's an ordained evangelist. No, catechist.
Okay, but anyways, whatever name you call him, just go ahead.
So he came up with that flyer that they want to redesign the Naira. And everybody keyed into it.
Yes.
Definitely, if it was done well, it would have checkmated some of this illegal cash in circulation.
So it was a right policy, but that
badly implemented.
Badly implemented.
Depends on the mindset of the government that in power then.
Okay. If
it had been followed to the letter, it would have been a very good one. But one thing they did not do, they did not monitor the volume of cash in circulation. That will have taken care.
Was it not having a political coloration? And that's why it was badly implemented.
That is what I said earlier. When I started this, that was the first thing I said. They wanted it. Some people insinuated. I would not say they wanted it.
Okay, it was alleged.
Yes, it was alleged that it was meant to stifle the cash flow during the electioneering period. And some people even came up to say that it was targeted at this sitting
particular
president.
candidate.
Yes, that was what they were saying.
So that is why it was badly implemented.
That was, that would say yes, that was how it was badly implemented. Now, part of the sins is what the man is paying for today. But one thing the government should have done, you want to do that type of policy, you should have been able to know how much cash in circulation. Does Nigeria actually know how much we have in circulation today? 2 weeks ago, the CBN came out to say that it was the illegal money, the Yahoo money, that is flooding the market. That is why the economy is dwindling. I don't know that type of economic explanation. Okay. Don't you have monitoring system in your treasury?
We have monitored.
Yes, we have monitored the movement of cash. If the economy has been running well, I don't think all these Yahoo boys will have been doing what they were doing.
Okay, we'll write about the internet fraud, sir. Let me quickly come to you, Barrister Godwin Ejigba, and also look at the judiciary as it concerns that cash trap, and also the one we're also facing. And many will say the late going to court or going to get the Supreme Court judgment as it concerns the validity of the old Naira note alongside with the new Naira note is the reason we are now deep into the problem also in 2024 or the end of 2023 coming into 2024. Do you feel the government, especially this administration, was slow in seeking that Supreme Court judgment, putting the old Naira note as being valid indefinitely? Is that the problem we're facing now, as it concerns the cash?
I do not think so. Okay. Because when the application to court was made, the two were already running side by side concurrently.
Okay.
Now, what actually happened, as my colleague was saying, was an artificial scarcity. Okay. The money was there, people were feeding fat from it. What the banks were doing, they were sending money to POS operators, they give them returns, and then the POS operators in return charge heavy interest or profit on the money that they give to the ordinary persons who come to collect money from them.
Okay.
So that was the thing that actually happened. And so the money had always been there.
Is that what we're still facing now?
Of course, it's the same thing. The bank is still doing fraudulent practices with the POS operators. And the court did what they should do. They have said, look, let the money continue to circulate. That was the order the court made. And recall that some persons who think that they were Alpha and Omega said they were not going to obey the court orders. Those issues came up, and I'm sure you're familiar with those issues at that point in time. But be that as it may, the Naira design did a lot of havoc to our society. And so much damage was done, even to the ordinary person, some of them who died, some who lost their jobs. So many things happened during that period. But the problem is corruption. Corruption in the sense that the bank managers, the bank directors and executives are feeding fat out of the scarcity.
Okay, well anyways, that's one major thing that really welcomed Nigeria into 2023. But let's look at another major one, and that's the issue of the elections, the general elections. You know the 2022 general election came with a whole lot of anxiety, but on March the 1st, 3 days after Nigeria went to the polls, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was a former Lagos State governor, was declared the winner and president-elect. And well, his party, the All Progressive Congress, polled about 8.7 million votes to defeat no other person but Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, who scored 6.9 million, and also the ex-Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, who scored 6.1 million, as it concerns that. Now, let's look at that also, because it was another major one as it defined 2023, and it was indeed a talking point of 2023. We looked at it going into 2020, in 2022, running into 2023, and we had a whole lot of expectations. I want your reaction as it concerns the election, and funny enough, even the final court judgment, the Supreme Court judgment, affirming the validity of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let's look at the election.
Yes, if you look at elections in Africa, I don't think there has ever been a fair election. Even when they seem to be fair, somebody somewhere want to pull a string to overturn the decision.
Okay.
The African rulership is by conquest, unlike the West that is constitutional.
Okay.
In Nigeria, we worship our government, while in Europe they worship their laws. That is the difference between we and those people. These elections that have just passed, many people are still crying wolves that it was rigged, it was rigged, it was rigged. No, the person that is on seat is not the person that won. The court will give a different. I would not say the court. I would not. You were not in the court. I think so, because
no, I was not there.
You were not part of the process.
Legal team.
Can you just please leave Barrister Godwin will think about
Okay, that's their jurisdiction.
Okay.
You know, when a court will pass a judgment in Lagos, the same court of appellate jurisdiction will pass another one at the other end of it. At the end of the day, it became a chaotic situation. But I should think that the way we are, if we cannot beat them, we leave the situation the way it is. Nobody can say that the election was free and fair, but somebody has emerged a winner. Like our former governor of the state here said one time, it takes a popular candidate to rig election and go away with it. Like someone like myself, I cannot contest the governorship of Delta State and say I won and I'm going to declare myself. Who knows me apart from the few people that are with me? So for you to have even won at all, you have people in every sector of the economy
that
played major roles.
Significant roles.
Yes.
In ensuring that.
So there is no way it will be too difficult to actually say this person won and this person did not lose, because you are not able to go back to all the polling units and recount all those votes. That is where the problem is.
So it's a problem of our electoral process.
Exactly, it's a problem of
now, Barrister Godwin Ojingba, the Supreme Court, or rather the courts, every eye was on the courts, especially as it concerns this election. This election was not just basically among those three major contestants. It's one of the fiercest and one of the most controversial election as it concerns the candidates and how it played out. But all eyes were on the judiciary. And looking at the judgment we had at the tribunal up to the Supreme Court judgment, one of the longest ever when it comes to being read out. Would you say a Nigerian judiciary and the issues of elections taking the judicial turn rather than going through the ballot box is something that we can truly encourage?
No, not quite. You recall that our past president, Goodluck Jonathan, once said that the court should be left out of
Electoral decision of who.
Now, unlike what my brother here said, if you watch the election in Liberia that has just been completed now, it was free and fair. George Weah, as it were, had congratulated the person who won.
In all maturity.
It's only in Nigeria that the election becomes do or die.
It's not only in Nigeria.
In Kenya it was not, in Ghana it was not. I'm talking now in Africa contemporary setting.
Sorry to come in.
Yes,
but the fact that some people said, okay, I will let it go, does not mean it is fair. They just want that atmosphere, not to
but if you look at the elections in Liberia, we had every reason to let it go. Because we could understand there was little or no electoral irregularities. But every eyes were on Judge Weah because he nurtured the electoral process into what it was and easily conceded defeat. And that's why he's now the toast of the town, just like Goodluck Jonathan did in 2015. But let's see
back to the judiciary. You recall that the fact that you bring to the court, the figures that you brought, and the evidence that you lead in support of this fact, it was the judges to reach in taking the.
Do you feel the judiciary had a bad light after these elections?
No,
everybody saw it.
Apparently, because most of the persons that I read for the pages of newspapers. They are not seized of the facts.
Okay.
What are the facts before this court? What were the figures that were brought? How were they brought? Who came to give evidence? Was he qualified to give evidence?
Okay.
The documents that were admitted, were they supposed to be admitted?
Yes.
Now, the only issue that I personally didn't quite agree with the Supreme Court was the issue of the 25% by the Federal Capital Territory.
Okay.
But if the Supreme Court says this is what it is, of course, so be it.
Yeah.
Because the Supreme Court is not fallible because it is infallible, but because it is the final court. Now, in this year, for instance, major decisions to be taken. The cases of Delta, Kano, and National...
Kano, funny enough, will be one that everybody will be waiting for and will be a starter for the judiciary in 2024 as the Supreme Court will take a final decision on who.
Even on all of them, even on all the cases that are gone to the Supreme Court, all the governorship cases, they end the Supreme Court and they'll be taken this year. Between and February, all of them will be decided. Now, for whatever way it goes, that will be it. Because that will be the final court, and after that, no one will go again.
So it's going to be a major highlight as it concerns 2024.
Now, my only fear, worry is that in some of these decisions, there is a concurrence already. The tribunal and the Court of Appeal has gone one side.
Okay.
So unless something else drastically happens, chances are that it will go the same way.
So if you look at most of the governorship elections, and the decisions already taken at the tribunal and the Court of Appeal. Many are saying it might follow, but what chances are there for peace to be in the state? Just during the weekend, we saw violence in Kano. Some cars were burnt on account of protests, seeking that they do not want the Supreme Court judgment to go the way of the tribunal and the Court of Appeal.
It does not lie in the people to say so. It lies in the court to take the decision based on the facts presented before it, as argued by the lawyers. Now, let me tell you one thing. Once the court says this is the thing, it becomes the final thing. That is why we have a rule of law. It does not like the ordinary person's street urchins. And I said on this platform the other day that the problem of this country is even illiteracy. If you were able to read the figures, look at, follow the proceedings as it were, there will be no need to go and protest. In fact, the children of these people who are going to be the major beneficiaries of the election, for instance, the one who becomes governor, the children are not in the street fighting.
No, of course not.
So why would the ordinary children, the one you call a majority, the one you call they go about begging, you know, they're going to fight and fight who in the first instance? The Supreme Court justices are not even going to be there. Sometimes I can assure you that maybe this judgment will be delivered via Zoom. But even if not delivered via Zoom, they'll be in Abuja delivering the judgment that will affect the people in Kano, in Delta, in Nasarawa, in Rivers, and in all of these states where this has gone to the Supreme Court.
Okay, anyway, it will be supreme for us to continue.
If I just ask you a little question.
Please do.
You have exonerated the judiciary from all this.
I'm not exonerating them. I'm saying what they are doing. That is
because you say no, the facts in the court is different from what the ordinary people on the street understand.
That is it.
If we take the case of Atiku and President Muhammad Buhari into consideration,
yes.
You know when they gave that judgment, that will give reasons later.
Yes.
Have they given that reason till today?
If you don't buy the law report, do you buy?
No, I'm asking. I'm not aware.
Yes,
That's why I asked.
They have.
Because I've not heard. Mike, I don't know whether you've heard about it.
Now, for every case that is decided
Yes.
at the Supreme Court, they are usually reported.
Okay.
So they can't be.
So it might not come immediately, but
It normally will come, not long.
okay.
Within 2-3 months, the report is out. And so when you buy law report, there are several of them. You have the APRO, you have a weekly law report, you have FLRO. There are many. So when you buy them, you see. In fact, even the one they decided in some of these applications,
yes,
they're already out now.
Okay, anyway, we will not go out from talking about some of the major high points in 2023, but we need to go on the break though. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we look at some of the stories that helped shape in 2023, and many are hopeful will not make a repeat in 2024. Let's go on a break.